Ryan had treated her so badly, but she had loved him so, more than anything, and more importantly, she had loved Alice and Max with all her heart. Could a man like Ryan truly recognize a mistake? Could he ever make it up to her? Could she ever forgive him, at least forget what he'd done for the sake of Max and Alice? She didn't know, but she didn't mind his lame apology one bit. A small smile of vindication began to curve at the corners of her mouth. She turned around and collided with the hard wall of Sam. She'd completely forgotten him in the last few moments. She hadn't even noticed he was still holding her wrist. He let go of it now, folded his arms, and stared down at her.
You want to tell me what that was all about?
No, she answered honestly. She didn't think it was a good idea to tell Sam anything about Ryan. But damn it, she couldn't keep the smile from her face. No, I don't believe I do. But thanks for stopping by. She gave him a friendly pat on the upper arm, stepped around him, and walked into the store. Good morning, she called to the woman behind the counter. Well, good morning, the woman said, surprised by her cheerfulness. Libby marched to the back of the store in the freezer section. She heard the tingle of a bell as the door opened again, but she continued to peruse the frozen cases, debating the idea of consuming ice cream before 10 in the morning, particularly given her recent bit of weight gain from such practices. But it was an extraordinary morning, and Libby picked up a pint of Rocky Road, and a pint of Neapolitan, and one of caramel crunch for a well-balanced breakfast. With the pint stuffed into the crook of her elbow, she stepped back and let the freezer door shut, and stared into the eyes of Sam Winters again.
Let's try this again, he said congenially. What were you doing up at Ryan's house?
He leaned his shoulder against the freezer door, as if he thought they were going to be here a while, chatting it up like neighbors. He looked a little odd in such a casual pose. Sam was an imposing man with big shoulders and bigger arms. He probably intimidated a lot of people, but he did not intimidate Libby. Sam, she said, smiling, I hope this doesn't come across as rude, but it's really none of your business. And yet, I'm going to tell you because I know you will insist. I was using a shortcut to go to town, so... She shrugged. I guess I'll see you around. She started to move past him, then paused, stepped back, and said, By the way, thanks for, helping me, she said, referring to his telling Ryan that she was meeting him and running late. See you. She walked on. At the counter, she put her ice cream down and dug out a 10 from her wallet. Her money situation was not great. She'd gotten a little bit of severance when she was given the opportunity to leave her job at the sheriff's office, which was a nice way of saying she was fired. She was lucky to have free room and board out at the ranch, and hoped that she might make enough off the events they held out there to live. So far, nothing could be further from the truth. It was bad enough that Madeline was paying for the utilities, but half the time, Libby didn't have money for groceries. Lately, she'd been thinking she might have to sell her shitty car if things didn't turn around, and buying 3 pints of ice cream was definitely not high on her priority list. Caramel crunch, the woman said. That's my favorite. Must be that time of the month, she said with a wink. Do you have a spoon? Libby asked. The woman's brows waggled up to her hairline. Girl needs a fix. Over there, sweetie, next to the pickles and hot dogs. Libby swept by the condiment stand, grabbed a handful of spoons, and walked outside. And who should be perched against the hood of her car, his ankles crossed, his arms still folded? Sam Winters. This guy was like a whack-a-mole game. He kept popping up.
We're going to have this conversation, if you like it or not, he said before she could speak. So don't try and brush me off again. And be nice when you answer me. What were you doing in the Vista Ridge subdivision this morning?
You're tenacious, I'll give you that, she said cheerfully. But did I miss a constitutional amendment memo? It's still a free country, right?
I said be nice. Didn't we review the concept of free for you just a couple of days ago? He asked.